Hello, and welcome back to the Cooper Villa channel. I'm Scott Cooper, and I'm here with Noah Fisher to discuss Aston Villa versus Burnley from Saturday afternoon. Yep, after a couple of bad results, we were in for a big game. We needed the 3 points, and we got it somehow. Just sort of limped across the line, but a huge win for us, huge 2023, and we'll be talking about all that and much more after this. Okay, yeah, so we're back at Villa Park. It was our last game of 2023. Burnley were the visitors. And after the second half capitulation against Man United, we needed to get back to winning ways, Noah. We needed the 3 points to keep this run for Champions League football going. And we got the 3 points, but it wasn't as straightforward as probably many of us would have wanted. But look, in these kind of times, you just need to turn the script around and get the win. We did that. Ollie Watkins, fantastic with a couple of assists. Douglas Luiz with the penalty and off the bar at the end, and we got there. So, what were your thoughts, and how do you think? How big a result is this for Villa?
Well, Happy New Year, Scott. We're in Melbourne,
Yep.
7 hours off welcoming 2024. So we're filming this the day of the game, or just after the game, I guess you could say.
Yep.
Finished at 4 a.m. So it's a massive win. In my opinion, it's a massive win. They're the games you have to win when you're not
Yep.
playing your best. You're playing a bit scrappy. And look, I think the players are very tired. I think we can see that. And we're missing some depth that we don't have. There's a few players that we are definitely missing. We
Yeah.
should be able to welcome back in the next Premier League game. Kamara being the key one, he'll be back.
Mm.
But I don't know. It's like a clinical display. I mean, I'm buzzing for Watkins that he got 2 assists. He's now the assist leader in the Prem. But I think there's so many things we've got to work on. Like that when we were 2-1 up in the game, and I will touch on it more, but there were some big chances to put the game to bed that we just did not capitalize on.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there was a couple of changes. Diaby came back in to the starting lineup. Dendoncker made way, and McGinn went back into that more defensive midfield role. And then the other one was forced with Luca Digne being injured, so Moreno came in to replace him. But look, I think there's a lot of positives to take from this game. I think going forward, like you said, we created a lot of chances. I thought Bailey was really good. He obviously scores the first goal. Diaby back on the score sheet as well is a huge thing because I think it was 10 games without a goal for him. So that was really massive for us. And at halftime, I was reasonably happy because we were 2-1 up. Yes, we'd given them a soft goal from the free kick. And they created a couple of chances, but I thought we were defending them quite well. I mean, we can get into the defending later because I think that is a bit of a talking point. But I think going forward, we were creating chances. We were looking dangerous. Ollie Watkins was a man possessed in this game. I really thought he was our best player and the best player on the pitch by far. And he was running the channels like I hadn't seen him run for a long time, getting those kicks from Martinez, holding the ball up, getting us up the pitch, getting us into areas where we can cause problems. And I think we did that quite well. And Ollie Watkins, fantastic.
Yeah, by far the best player on the pitch. He's been unbelievable. He showed his versatility in this
Yep,
game. He's also a good playmaker. I mean, he's got the most assists in the Premier League with
he
8. I
is.
know that's with a couple of games we played in this match week, but he's still got 8 assists this season, 9 goals. It's quite remarkable when you compare him to other players. Like there's players who got more goals than him, but have nowhere near the amount of goal contributions as him. And it goes down the list. Leon Bailey has 6 Premier League goals now. Douglas
Mm.
Luiz, I think, has 5 or 6, and Diaby has 4 or 5 as well. So we're getting our goals, and yes, it's nice to have a striker that's very clinical, like an Erling Haaland that just scores bags of goals.
Yep.
But it's also needed to have someone that can set them up for everyone as well. And he's playing such a crucial role, and I think he's had a couple of games where he was knuckled down a little bit, couldn't
Mm.
really do what he wanted, and
Yep.
against a lesser team like Burnley, no disrespect to them, but on the ladder, I think he probably came to a little bit more confidence, hoping he could get that goal that he needed to get his 10th for the season.
That's right. And I thought he started the game a little bit sort of slowly. He had a couple of bad touches when the ball came out to him, trying to hold the ball up. But then, for the opening goal, he was magnificent holding off the defender, turning him in the channel, getting, goal side, and then the pass to Diaby, I think a lot of people felt like it wasn't no, for Bailey, sorry, wasn't meant for Bailey, but I think it was. Is perfectly onto his left foot, and we all know that you get the ball to Leon Bailey's left foot in the box, he's gonna finish a lot. So yeah, I thought it was a fantastic build up, and then on the second goal as well. He thought he was offside, but it just proves to him, what a player is, that he can continue and with that sort of doubt in the back of his mind, he can still create the goal. Beautifully cut back for Diaby, who had a simple finish. And look, yeah, going forward, I thought we looked really good, and we were getting some of the spark back that I think we saw around the Man City game and before that game. I think since Man City going forward, we've looked a bit sort of short on ideas at times, a bit slow, a bit less ruthless as we've been. And I thought that side of the game was very positive because I thought we got that back. Now, what is that because of Burnley? They're not the greatest team in the Premier League, obviously. They play a very open style, very attacking style. And that can sort of lead to them conceding a lot of goals, which they have this season so far. So, it'll be interesting to see if we can continue that into the next games. Middlesbrough in the Cup is the next one. We've got a whole week off. And I think it's going to be great for the players as well. So, what are your thoughts? Do you think it was a bit to do with Burnley, the fact that we had so much joy going forward, or do you think we found our groove back?
I think it's a bit of a couple of things. I think Emery fired an absolute rocket at them during the week
Yep,
after United
great
game. So I
point.
think they were coming out firing because the second half, we kind of went back to our tired-ish, slow build-up ways. And even when Burnley equalised in the second half, I think that it took something special from John Duran, a bit of change of pace, a bit of faster movement to draw the penalty because we weren't doing that, and the crowd were getting quite frustrated and
Mm.
and stuff. But the first half was unbelievable. We got kind of back to that ball movement that was required. Um, I think we're getting our mojo back. So I think this week off will be really good, and then obviously some key players might get a bit of a rest in the FA Cup. As much as I want to go on a big cut run, I know Middlesbrough have a League Cup game coming up just a couple of days after the FA Cup, I think. So they're going to probably
Right.
rest a few players as well because they're further along in that tournament. So it's going to be a bit of a rotation squad, give some guys some time off, and then back in action against in the Cooper Cup against Everton.
That's right. Yes. Everton is the next game in the Premier League, and that's going to be a difficult game. But they've actually hit a bit of a form slump since they,
I was going to say they've lost
about
their last three now.
yeah, they were going really well about a month ago, but it seems to have dropped off a little bit. So hopefully we can keep that going in that match. But yeah, I think Middlesbrough will be interesting because we've actually got just one game a week now for the next 3 weeks.
Huge.
So I mean, we could go full strength in all three games. This could be a possibility. We could see. I mean, we've seen some pretty strong teams go out in the Europa Conference League at times where we thought we'd see a few more changes. So, I think there'll be a few changes, but I still think guys like maybe Kamara who haven't played for a bit, and these sort of guys will, maybe Pau Torres who's back from injury now, and of course played the last half an hour last night. Um, these guys could come back in and get a bit of match sharpness, bit of bit of fitness. So yeah, we want to win these tournaments. I mean, we're at the moment playing one of the best, teams, as one of the best teams in England, and why couldn't we win the FA Cup? Like, if we keep playing the way we are, absolutely could be a possibility, especially with like, Man City and Arsenal and these teams, might have their eye on a different prize come sort of later in the season. So, look, we haven't won the FA Cup since '57. It's been way, way, way too long. I've seen us get to a couple of finals and be beaten. It's been heartbreaking, but look, why not? And I think that game against Middlesbrough is going to be great. But yeah, going into the second half against Burnley, look, we wanted that third goal. I really felt like it was the next goal the winner in some respects. Like I felt like if we got the next goal, we would go on to win quite comfortably. If they did, maybe the Man United hangover, the sort of the Old Trafford demons might come back, and we could throw it away altogether. So, but then the red card sort of changed everything. Noah. And Berg, absolutely stupid play to pull Dougie's shirt like that, especially when you've already been booked.
Yeah, very stupid. Because I actually rate Sanderberg. I remember we were
Mm.
interested in him when Sheffield United went down in 2020. He's a great defensive midfield. Obviously, I don't think he'd compete with the ones we've got at the moment. But at the time, highly rated defensive midfielder. And yeah, stupid challenge. He's always going to get a second booking. And I think in game time, what it was like 15 minutes of game time between yellow cards or something. Not that long. I mean, Conser
Yeah,
was on a
yeah.
yellow card for pretty much 75 minutes and didn't do anything stupid. But it's a massive point in the game that, I mean, they end up going a bit more counter-attacking from that kind of point. They had to try
Mm.
rebound. Obviously, that's where their goal ultimately came from, was a real wolf ball header on and they're on goal. Um, but yes, I don't know. One of those
Well,
days, isn't it?
Well, you made a great segue there because that's what we need to talk about, and that's the one thing that a lot of villains out there in the social media world are complaining about and are commenting about is the defending. Longley, especially, is getting a lot of heat. Didn't have a very good game. He gives me the worries. I got to say it, and I know that Pau Torres came on for him, which I thought was a very good sub by Emery. And I felt immediately more calm at the back as soon as he was on the pitch.
Yeah.
Because at that point, of course, it was 2-2. Burnley did equalize with the 10 men. And it was like you said, just a simple ball flick header. And the offside trap was caught out again, like it was at Old Trafford, like it has been, at other times in the season. But I'm still a believer in the high line, and I think that with Pau Torres in there, it makes a lot more sense. But
I mean,
leaving,
you say that, Scott, but Pau Torres is actually on for the goal.
he was
Pau
okay,
Torres was subbed on at the 63rd minute, and they scored at the 71st minute. So I
right?
know
Well,
Longley's getting a lot of hate.
mm,
Um, we did catch Burnley offside 15 times, I believe. I was actually chatting to Owen about it after the game, back
yeah,
and forth, and I said the same thing, watching it live, and I thought they were getting over the top too easy.
yeah,
But you catch a team offside 15 times, it's a pretty good day out. Diego Carlos was unlucky with that second goal. He was the one that was just a fraction forward of
yes,
Pau Torres. But yeah, I know Longley has question marks over him. He hasn't. It's his second Premier League game, Scott.
yeah,
He's been sitting around waiting for a long time. I still think he's doing a decent job. Obviously he might not be with us much longer because AC Milan are
mm.
looking to purchase him in January, and that could be the end of him. And I tell you what, I think he's someone that we need to keep around because we're quite short in the centre back department.
Yeah, well, if we'd need to replace him if we did let him go. Look, I think his one-on-one defending does scare me a bit. There was a few times in this match where he was caught one-on-one and he
He made
just
he
sort
made
of,
some mistakes.
yeah, he just got a toe in but he gives you the jitters a little bit. And I think with Torres there, we look a lot better. And I think with Consa playing more centrally and not being right back as well, it helps us. But look, we had to do what we had in this match, and we they did a pretty good job all around. I think there was other chances as well that Burnley had. Of course, they had an offside goal that was just a toe offside. They had the moment that they are really complaining about is the Diego Carlos handball. They thought that maybe he should go, that was a goal scoring opportunity.
It came off his thigh though, didn't it? It deflected off his thigh. That's what the commentators were saying on Optus Sport. And it's the
Yeah.
same thing in the box. If it comes off your chest or comes off your thigh, it can't be a handball.
Look, I think it would have been harsh, but I think look, it also the handball really did advantage Villa in that
It did.
moment.
It
It,
did.
it, it went, like he probably would have got to that ball, the striker, if it wasn't for the handball. Just the way it kind of the move worked out, the action sort of went
Yeah,
forward.
yeah.
But yeah, do I think it was a deliberate handball? No, and it did sort of flick off his thigh. So benefit of the doubt, they got the free kick. In the end, I think
No, no,
so.
it was a goal
Right?
kick.
It was given a goal kick. Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All
Because
right.
he went on with it and put it wide. The
Yes.
striker put it wide, so it was a goal
Okay.
kick.
Well, I'm glad it wasn't a red card because we don't need any more suspensions. And look, uh, probably got away with that one a little bit, but then we went into the last sort of 20 minutes, 15 minutes, 2-2. We needed the winner. It was going to be another embarrassing result. I think if we had drawn 2-2 to Burnley at home with 11 against 10, and we needed to buck that trend. And Duran comes on, um, causes all kinds of chaos. By the way, like he comes on, he's fouling people, he's getting in there, he's making things happen. He did a few really good things actually in this match in the last few minutes where he just won us the ball back, or he kept us, won us a throw in, and got us a free kick. I think once, and he's all action. He's like,
He flies in,
oh,
doesn't he?
he's just absolutely Hollywood when you watch him, like box office stuff. Like there's always something going on around him. But he gets the penalty. Poor old Aaron Ramsey against his former club. Maybe wants us to win the title or finish top four. I don't know what it is, but
I'll
he
tell you what, that is a very 50-50 penalty call.
it is soft, but I think I don't know.
I'll
In
tell you
this,
what, Scott, if it's not given, it's not overturned. That's all I'm going to say. Because I don't think there's a lot in it. I know he gets kicked, but
yeah.
you got to think that Ramsey did have possession of the ball originally and then went to play the ball, but Duran just snuck in front of him.
Well, I
Um,
think we're going to start to see this more and more in the teams are going to say when we're ahead or when we're trying to protect a point, no big clearances from the
no,
box. Don't go for a full swing, kick it into Rose Ed. Just because
play it out.
if a player can get there just before you're doing that huge swing and you're out of control, you can give away
You're
penalties.
done.
So
Yeah.
you know, um, look, yeah, it is harsh, but Duran knew what he was doing, exactly what he was doing. He knew if he got in there just ahead of him, he was going to get kicked, put his body in between Ramsey and the ball, and yeah, we got the penalty, which seemed to take an absolute age to be taken, and there was so many checks and delays, and I just wanted it to be over.
Oh,
Uh,
mate. Dougie, the ref with the whistle, and Dougie was just standing there for like what felt like an hour.
I know, and he was doing his little like Brazilian run up, and then he finally goes in off the bar twice to go in, bounces off the bar, bounces down, back up onto the bar and in, and Villa get the 3 points, and we'll take that. Thank you very much. We'll move on to the next one.
42 points so far in the season, Scott. It's crazy.
Yep,
It
amazing.
really is crazy when you think about it.
17 wins at home in 2023, I
The
think.
most points by anyone in 2020, 53
53
points,
points.
and Man City have 51. So we're in
Mm.
good company. We're in very good company at the moment. And before games of play, we're currently sitting second. So going in at the moment for us in Australia, going into the new year, will be second place.
I know if
Um,
Newcastle beat Liverpool 7-0, we're going to be top of the league
and
on
that's also
New
going that Arsenal don't win
Yeah.
either. But
Yeah.
it's a weird time to
it's
be a Villa
it's
fan, isn't
possible.
it?
It's possible. We
Oh,
could be top of the league.
anything's possible in the Premier League, Scott. But it's crazy.
It is crazy. And I think this December period has been crazy for all the teams. And we haven't played that well through much of these matches, but we've still got a really good set of points. And I think most of us would have taken what we got. Only one defeat to United. We've beaten City, we've beaten Arsenal, we've beaten Brentford, we've beaten Burnley now. We topped the group in the Europa Conference League.
It's been a
So
great 2023. The only thing I think that disappoints me is the Carabao Cup exit because I'd have loved a cheeky Carabao Cup run and that's kind of the only disappointing thing for me because I know a lot of fans' expectations got through the roof and we should have beaten Man United. We should have gotten 3 points against
Mm.
Sheffield United and we should be top of the league or whatever. But we're where we are. We're doing incredibly well.
Look,
And it just
Unai is still pumped and he's loving it, right? So as long as Unai Emery is happy, I'm happy.
same here.
And I think he summed it up very well after the game where he said we gave them too many chances, but I was happy with the win and the way we played going forward. And I think that sums it up. Once we get Kamara back, once we get Pau Torres back, maybe Moreno gets a few more games under his belt, this sort of thing. I think we will become a better team and our defensive fragility won't be as much of a problem. I think we're always going to take a few chances, just the way we play, the high line and all that, right? We're going to give up some chances and, we can't keep a clean sheet to save our lives. This is just the truth. But look,
That's why we
uh,
do it.
but look, we're one of the top scorers in the league. We're unbelievable at home. And, we're not too bad away from home. We could be better. And that's one area where in 2024, hopefully we can be a bit more consistent. But look, we've got to take it for what it is. We're in the top four, well and truly in the top four. And hopefully, points can be taken off the other teams. United lost again last night. It's good to see them get put back in their place after their comeback victory against us because, they're one of the teams that realistically, if we were to finish fifth or sixth, that they are probably a team that could finish ahead of us. So even how bad they are. Spurs are the other one, Newcastle, these sort of teams. So as long as those sort of teams keep dropping points and we keep winning our home games and picking up the points here and there away from home, I think we will finish in the Champions League spots. I think we
It's
will.
in our hands at the moment, Scott. Like honestly, it's in our hands. I know Tottenham haven't played yet, so we currently have a 6 point gap on them. But three
Yeah.
points if they win, it's in our hands. It really is in our hands, and it's exciting times.
Yep, yep. And we've got some big games coming for the second half of the season. So let's get into the predictions for Middlesbrough, the FA Cup, and then we're going to go onto a little section where we're going to talk about the best of 2023 and just some of our best moments and memories and that sort of thing. So first of all, Middlesbrough away, FA Cup third round. How are you feeling about that one, Noah?
I'm feeling good. As you said, we haven't won an FA Cup since was it not 56? Is that what you said?
57,
57?
2-1 against United, but black and white days.
And I've seen us obviously make a couple of finals.
Mm.
Obviously most recently against Arsenal, we got battered.
4-0.
But I'm going to go a 2-0 win. I know you say we don't keep clean sheets, but we don't play someone like Middlesbrough every day. I'm not no disrespect for them. They're flying their eighth at the moment, but I think we'll have too much class for them. It depends who's in goal. I actually think it will be Martinez. I think they want to make a statement and get through the
Yeah.
next round and keep progressing. So I'm going to go 2-0.
I'm going to say 3-1. I think the clean sheet will never be there. I just don't, I can't feel it. Yeah, I think it could be a game where it's 1-1 and we get a couple of late ones, bring on the cavalry, maybe bring on Ollie Watkins and Bailey and these kind of guys and maybe get a couple of late goals. But yeah, look, and I don't think there's any replays anymore in the FA Cup. So we could get
No,
a penalty.
no, no.
We
I
could
think they're
get a,
back. It was just during the COVID seasons. I think
oh, okay.
they got rid of them.
Oh, that's good because I think it's kind of like a tradition,
It
and
is a tradition
I
for sure.
do I do like. I know they play a lot of games, and the FA Cup doesn't have the glamour that it used to when I first got into football in the early '90s. It was almost as big as winning the league title. It really was the Super Bowl game of English football, if you like. It was the big match, and winning an FA Cup was huge, absolutely huge, and I still think it's huge. And if we were to win the FA Cup, it would be massive, like the
It'd be
biggest moment
huge.
in my whole time as being a Villa fan. So,
100%, Scott.
let's do it. Let's start on a good note.
Let's give
Three
ourselves a
one.
chance at it.
That's
Go
it.
for let's give ourselves a proper go at it. And yeah, it's pretty exciting times. It really is.
That's it. Um, Middlesbrough had a few Villa players last season, so Neither of them are there anymore. But look, it's going to be a good test. Middlesbrough are not a terrible team at all, and I think but I think we can win 3-1. So let's get into our best of 2023. So you've got some categories there that we're going to go through.
Yeah, so I've just gone some basic categories. So I'll list them all for everyone, then we'll go through them because I want everyone to put them down in the comments, stay
Absolutely.
engaged with us. So I got favorite goal of the year,
Mm,
favorite win of the year. This is like a bit of a different one, but a favorite moment on the podcast that you can think of the year. I'm
okay.
obviously player of the year, disappointment of the year, and story of the year. But 2023 has been quite a rise, Scott. I was trying to find the data on it, but I
Yeah.
couldn't quite find the data on how many subscribers we've earned. But I think we were on about 400 or 500 at the start of 2022.
Hmm.
So we've gained 214 subscribers. That's just quick math from me. It's not 100% accurate. That's pretty outstanding on the Coot de Villa point of view. So thank you to everyone.
Absolutely.
But if you've been here since day one or you subscribed yesterday, we really do appreciate everyone that drops a comment and likes the video, puts a comment on there. So yeah,
Absolutely. And get behind us on Instagram, on Spotify. You know, if you've watched the video on YouTube, go over Spotify, have a quick listen, and then give us a 5-star review on Spotify. That'd be fantastic. Also with Instagram, Facebook, all of that, like the video and like the page.
and there'll
That'd be
probably be some
great.
new content going on those sort of platforms as well that we can't post on YouTube, like some short content. I know we're working on some stuff for next year, Scott, that will be on those sort of platforms. So if you want to stay up to date, yeah, chuck us a follow on there. The links will be again down below. So yeah,
All
get
right.
involved.
Nice one. All right, let's get into it.
So favorite goal, Scott? You go first, and I'll go after you.
Look, my memory isn't the greatest, but the one I thought was John Duran versus Crystal Palace. I just think it was not only a superb goal, individual goal. It was just the timing of the goal. It was the fact that we were, that was a disappointing result at the time, 1-1 against Palace at home. We needed to keep that run going of those home victories, and it was just an absolute thunderblaster.
It was actually one
Uh,
we were losing at the time, Scott.
oh, that was the equalizer, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yes. And we came back. Yeah. So absolute shit pinger. I loved it. John
That's a
Duran.
great choice. My memory is a little bit better than yours,
Okay.
apparently, but I'm going to give a couple of honourable mentions. I
Yep.
think the Leon Bailey goal against Manchester City just recently was a great goal. Just the build-up
Yes.
play, Emery ball was in full flight. Same with the McGinn goal against Arsenal,
I
another
was I
another
was
one.
I was thinking of saying the McGinn goal. That was a close second one because it was a great team goal.
It
Yeah.
was. Another one I'm thinking of was Diaby versus Burnley away at the start of the season.
That's a great
Again, there were
shout.
four passes to build up to the goal. But I think one goal in particular that summarizes Emery ball at its finest was
Hmm.
our last loss at Villa Park against Arsenal when Coutinho scored to put us 2-1 up. I'm not sure if you remember the goal, but it was a
Mm.
free-flowing Unai Emery ball, just sensational play, and Coutinho tops it off with the finish. So that has to be my goal
So
of the year.
that's your pick,
Yeah,
Coutinho against Arsenal. That was in the 4-2 defeat, the famous um, Martinez coming off the bar off his head, and
that's the
then he
one.
comes forward for the corner and he's not in goals. And
That's
yeah,
the
that
one.
and that was our last defeat at Villa Park back in February. So
Crazy.
crazy to think. But yeah, good shouts, good shouts. So let us know what's your favorite goal. What's the next category?
Favorite win of the year.
Well, I think it has to be for me. We've got a favorite moment as well, don't we?
Yeah, favorite moment. Well, I guess we
It's
can
gonna
break
be
that up. We can break that up into two. We can do
okay.
favorite
So
moment.
I'm gonna save what I was thinking for this favorite
I think you
moment,
think of the same one as me.
but the favorite win is Man City at home.
Okay. I like
That's
that.
that. I think just because they are the treble winners, they're the best team in Europe, and we didn't just beat them. It was a full 90-minute absolute shellacking against a team with Erling Haaland in it, and yeah, look,
It's fair
they
enough. It's justified, isn't it, when you
no,
say that?
no, like nobody saw that coming in
No.
terms of the way it happened. And, when you've got pundits that, aren't Villa connected saying, I've never seen anyone do that to Manchester City before, ever. Um, you know, Pep Guardiola came out and said, we got absolutely played off the park. That I think is our best win.
No, I like it. I do like it, Scott. For me, I'm going to give a couple more honorable
Yep,
mentions.
do it.
Everton at the start of the season, 4-0. I think it was our first win at home of the season. I think we always tend to play them in August.
Yep,
Um, and then the one I'm actually going to go for is Newcastle at home last season when
that was a
we
great
when we beat them
performance.
3-0. I like to go something different. Obviously, City is the most recent one and probably our best
Yeah,
performance I've ever seen.
yeah.
But in terms of what we were trying to achieve last season and where we'd come from,
Hmm.
I like that one. That's my pick, but also Brighton on the last day, which I think we'll both be touching on very, very shortly. But Newcastle 3
Yep,
nil is my pick.
yep. No, I agree with all that. I think Newcastle last year was our best performance of last year.
Yeah,
So,
big time. Big
yep,
time.
no, I agree with all that.
We'll start with a different one. Moment of the year on the podcast. If you can remember a time that you look back and go, all right, that was one of my favorite moments of the year.
Um, Look, there's been a few. I think I liked having Tommy on talking about his engagement to Steph and that whole thing just from a few weeks ago. That was funny. He's just hilarious when it comes to his personal little stories when he goes off on his tangents. So I would say that's one of my favorites. But I think having Simon on, I think there was one where we had him on, and he was just
Was that in 2023 though? That might have been in 2022. You're thinking of?
really
I think so. That was Arsenal 20 when Gerrard was in charge.
okay. Look, like I said, my memory's not that good, so I'll just go with Tommy being Tommy. You
Tommy
know,
being Tommy.
Tommy. Yeah, I think that is when some of the funnier moments.
That Tommy does say his mind. Let's just say the least. But my one, again, it's a bit of a unique one, but it's when
Yeah,
we obviously Troy wasn't doing the best a couple of months ago. He's actually on the mend at the moment, so we'd love to hear it for Troy. But
he is doing
it's
very
when he
well.
when he sent his video message in for us to put on the podcast pre Nottingham Forest game. I think for me that stands out. Getting him back on the podcast in some capacity. That's
Yeah,
probably
and it's
my
it's
moment.
great to see you and Tommy go and visit him in Melbourne when he was there in hospital, and he's doing a lot better now, and it's great to see, and yeah, one of the best moments for the podcast, hundred
Definitely.
percent, hundred
Definitely.
percent, love
And
that.
then I guess we'll move into moment of the year on field. I think there can only be one for both of us. I'm not sure there
It's
can be a,
Bright. It's the Brighton win for
it has
me.
to be. Yeah,
Qualifying for Europe, first time in 13 odd years, and just giving ourselves something to hold on to at the end of last season, because it was always sort of felt like it was just out of our grabs. Europe, like we were sort of coming home with a wet sail, but it felt like it was just a little bit out of the grasp. But we managed to do it on the final day. Brighton are a quality team, and to beat them final game of the season when all the pressure's on, and they were sort of just above us at that point as well. I think that was great, and yeah, hopefully 2024 is even better because we won that game and we go on to win the conference. That'd be fantastic. So yeah, the win against Brighton, I think, was moment of the year.
and that's literally exactly the same as me. Another one you could probably think of was our first game back in Europe at Villa Park,
Mm,
in the group stage. Not when we played Hibs in the
absolutely.
qualifier, but we actually played a group stage match. There was another one that springs to mind for me. Just being back in European football is quite remarkable because when I was coming up as a Villa fan, I just kind of took it for granted, kind of
Mm,
expected it to be an every year sort of thing, but never take it for
mm.
granted because I mean we're in the championship not too long ago.
I think also the win against Man United, like Unai Emery's first win.
Again, that's
Uh,
2022, Scott.
well, that was 2022, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All
It
right.
was pre
Okay.
World Cup. It was pre World Cup.
It
But that
was.
one, that's last season. That's
Okay.
probably the biggest moments. But
Yeah. All right. Well, last season, the Newcastle game, The Arsenal game this season, the Manchester City game this season, all great wins, all great moments. But yeah, Brighton, I think we got that one. Yeah, that that
100%
that seems to be the consensus on that one. So yeah,
for sure.
what else we got?
So
Any
we got
more?
three more. We
Three
got
more.
player of the year. And I'll go first. I think it has to be Ollie Watkins in my opinion. I'm gonna go someone different. I think you're gonna go a player that I think one player of the year, I think is you're gonna say. But I think Ollie Watkins this season
Mm,
taking his game to another level under Unai Emery, finished with what, 16 goals last year, and most of them
yeah,
came in back into 2023. So you're looking at someone who's probably got 26 goals and over 10 assists in 2023.
yeah.
I don't think you can do much better than that. So I'm going to back in
No,
Ollie.
I love that. I mean, I would probably say Douglas Luiz,
Yeah.
but I also want to say Leon Bailey as well is also right there.
He's
Like,
pushing up, isn't he? He's
yeah,
pushing
he's
up.
he's right there because he's minutes per goal contribution. He's up there with Haaland, and
He
these
is.
he's
Yeah,
right up
yeah,
the
yeah.
tops. And this season in particular, I think he's been outstanding. Last season had some good moments, but was a little bit more hit and miss. But this season, he's been injury free. He's been firing. He's been, scoring in the Europa Conference, scoring in the Premier League, assists, doing the whole thing. I mean, yeah, I'd like to see maybe a few more away goals, but
Yeah, we all would.
At Villa Park, gee, there's no stopping that lad. So, but Douglas Luiz consistently over the whole 2023,
Yeah.
I think him and Watkins definitely the clear two favorites.
No, 100%. And this one's, I think, a little bit tougher, seeming the 2023 we've had,
Yep.
but disappointment of the year. And I'll go
Yep.
first because of how tough it is. There's a player I had so much time for when we had him in on loan. We signed him permanently. I set him for my goal of the year. I think Coutinho was someone I had all the hype in the world for.
Right.
I just wanted him to get it right under Emery. I thought that he could under Emery as a manager. He's a fantastic coach, and it just never quite worked out. Kept on getting
Mm.
injured and everything like that. And he finally got his body right and got injured again. And I'm disappointed myself that didn't work out more than anything. Because I really wanted it to.
Okay, yeah, it's a good shout. I mean, he was a Steven Gerrard signing. And maybe Emery just thought, look, he's not going to fit in with my plans. I'm not sure. My biggest disappointment in 2023, I'm going to say Matty Cash. I think this particular way of playing and the way we are possessing the ball and playing a lot of risks, playing it out from the back and that sort of thing. I think it's not quite suiting his game. He has had some good moments, like we were talking about the goal against Burnley earlier on in the season at Turf Moor, where him and Diaby were just looking like, I don't know, like Ronaldinho and Cafu on the right hand side there for at one point. But look, um, it was yeah. I think he's dropped off a lot, and his ability with the ball is not quite what we need. And a right back, I think, will likely be coming in January.
100%. And the final one, this was your suggestion, Scott, but
Yeah.
story of the year. What is your story of the year?
Look, I think it has to be Unai Emery. Like the story, the redemption of Unai Emery, and I think the win against Arsenal is the moment for him to sort of say to the English press and the English, fan bases, especially the Arsenal fan base, I'm not a joke. I am one of the most elite managers in the world. I'm in the top 5, and I win things, and I make teams better, and I make players better. And yet you might think I'm a bit weird, I'm a bit eccentric, I speak funny or whatever, like you're, sort of prejudice against Unai Emery is. I know Arsenal felt like he played sort of turgid football at times, which I haven't seen at Villa. But okay. Look, but I think he's proved the naysayers wrong. I think he's taken Villa and he's fully invested his whole being into it, into the culture, into the history, into just the whole fabric of the club. And I think that he's just been an absolute class act. He gets the fan base. He gets how important the Holt End is, the youth system is, the um just the fan base and the whole sort of culture of the club, like I spoke about earlier. And yeah, I just think he has been absolute top class, and he's the story of 2023 for Aston Villa.
I completely agree with you, but I'm going to throw another one at you,
Yep.
and it's the man that really found himself again in 2023, and that's John McGinn.
Yep.
Someone that's absolutely he was down and out. Let's be honest with you, he was struggling under Steven Gerrard. He was
He
given the
was.
captain's armband, and fans were getting on his back. If you don't admit that, then I think you're lying to yourself because everyone was kind of getting frustrated with him. He was playing a bit deeper, wasn't able to play himself. Like when he would go away
Mm.
for Scotland, he would be amazing.
Yep.
Emery comes in and lets him be John McGinn, and he's become a better version of John McGinn in this year, and he's only going to get better and better under this manager. And obviously, Emery gets all the credit because of what he's done, but I think it takes a character to be able to be as low as you were under a manager and then fight your way back. And I mean, John McGinn could easily have been out of this lineup when Emery comes in. No, don't want him in, sell
Mm.
him on, get rid of him. But no, he's one of our most important players, and credit to him.
Absolutely. And I think the form that he was in under Gerrard in those last few months there, I think, yeah, like you said, Emery could have come in and said, nah, he's not really my sort of player. I prefer a more, I don't know, technical sort of tiki-taka Spanish player. Like, let's bring someone in. But no, I think he realized how important John McGinn is to the identity of this team. And just, he's been there in the tough times, in the championship days. He's come through from quite a young player when we first signed him from Hibs to, he's been through 4 managers now at Villa. He's been there. He's part of the furniture. He gets the club. And part of Unai Emery getting the club was realizing that John McGinn was an integral part of this team, and their captain and coach are fully aligned now, and we are, both looking in the same direction and going in that direction. And like it's only helped McGinn. Um, I think with Boubacar Kamara and Douglas Luiz, I think it's the perfect midfield trio when they're all fit and playing and healthy. Um, Look, they just have all different sort of skill sets, but they just complement each other so much. And
Exactly that. And
yeah,
that's kind of why I have to go for him. But what are you, Scott? What are you
it's
to
been a
look back on?
fantastic year.
It
It's a
really
good
has
place
been.
to wrap up there. Um, yep. Great year. 2023 is done. Happy New Year to you all. Please like and subscribe, comment on the channel, and go and check us over on our socials and like us over there as well. We love you all. We happy birthday to Coxie as well. Coxie, one of our oldest fans, had his birthday the other day, so happy birthday to you. And here's to a 2024 with hopefully some silverware and some success, Noah.
Ooh, exactly that. Exciting.
Yeah, if it's as good as 2023, it's going to be exciting, that's for sure. And we will see you after the FA Cup, Middlesbrough, up the Villa.
Woo!